Welcome to the Remote Work Life podcast, where real-world remote work CEOs and leaders talk about how they collaborate, thrive, and build their businesses. Join me and thousands of followers from around the world to learn skills you need to work online from anywhere. I'm your host, Alex Wilson-Campbell. I'm an interview coach and tech recruiter on a mission to help you gain clarity and direction in your career and uncover hidden jobs through one-to-one and group coaching. And today, what I really wanted to do is, because it's one of the first episodes of the year, I wanted to just basically reintroduce myself and let you know what is going to be coming on the Remote Work Life podcast. For those who don't know, my name is Alex Wilson-Campbell. I'm the founder of Remote Work Life. And what I'm trying to do is try to build a community, trying to build a platform that will help you if you are new to remote work, or if you are in remote work and need the support that really working remotely demands. You need support, you need to stay connected, you need to collaborate. So that's the whole idea behind Remote Work Life. And that's basically why I started Remote Work Life. And before I go on, I just wanted to make a quick announcement, which is essentially what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be opening up the Remote Work Life platform, which now at the moment consists of, I'll be opening up the membership site at remoteworklife.io to initially 100 beta members, so 100 founding members to help me to make the site as good as it can be. I'll be posting, or have posted, around about 80 video interviews that I've done with some of the world's top remote CEOs and business leaders, as well as coaches and experts, to help you to really navigate your career while working remotely. That's hours and hours of content that I've uploaded. What I'm essentially trying to create is like a Netflix, I guess, of the remote world. But as I said, it's in beta. So I want around about 100 people to join me to test the platform, provide feedback, and just really get involved with what I'm trying to build for you. And that leads me quite nicely on to continuing what I was talking about before, which is reintroducing myself. So essentially, the Remote Work Life platform was born out of my own frustration, out of my own curiosity about remote work. I started working remotely back in 2009. There was a period where I became really frustrated because my own career development was really in decline, I suppose you could say, or at least it had begun to stagnate. So I wanted to understand what I needed to do next. So I started to reach out to CEOs and leaders of the top remote businesses in the world. With their permission, I started to record some of the meetings that I had, some of the conversations that I had, because I wanted to refer back to that information so that I could really, I guess, enhance my own career. And then I found this information, this peer-to-peer information, really helped me to develop and understand what I needed to do to develop. So I started to share some of the information with my close colleagues and my close friends, and I found that it helped them as well. So after that, I created what was called the Remote Work Life Summit to help and involve more people across the world. And again, I got really positive feedback from that cohort of people. So from there, I said, okay, let me start a podcast, not really knowing what was around the corner. And I mean, this was back in 2018, 2019. Didn't know what was around the corner, but I thought, let me share this information with people because it might be useful. And fast forward to now, obviously we're in the situation that we're in with the lockdown. We're now locked down again for the third time in the UK. Lots of people are going remote. Lots of people working from home. And incidentally, what I would say is, as a disclaimer, this is not the real world of remote work. This is us being forced to work from home, where remote work is all about freedom and the liberty to work where you want. So I know a lot of people are conflating the two, and it's kind of bringing a bit of bit of negativity, as far as I'm concerned, around the perception of what remote work really is. But the whole idea behind Remote Work Life was really just to debunk all those the skeptics and all the falsehoods that are going around about remote work. And like I said, what you can expect from the podcast in the future is just to really keep those spotlights going. So there's going to be essentially 3 types of content that I'll be sharing with you, which will hopefully help you to really enhance your career if you're a remote work professional or if you're new to remote work. So the first type of content, I suppose you could say, is what I've called the remote work-life business spotlight. And this is essentially where in around about 5 minutes, I will summarize and spotlight some of the top remote businesses anywhere in the world, talk about them in terms of, how they present themselves online, the types of business, the type of business that they are, just the general things about different remote businesses so that you can actually begin to navigate and understand the businesses, who they are, what they do, that kind of thing. So that's called the remote work-life business spotlight. So that's the first type of content I'll be sharing with you. The second type of content is I'll be sharing my expertise because for those who don't know, I spent around about, or have been in recruitment for around about 10 or so years. And of course, having been in recruitment for that length of time, I've spoken with a number of hiring managers. I've spoken with I understand the processes around recruitment, but not only that, I understand how remote workers, not remote workers, but remote leaders and hiring managers, I understand how they hire, how they nurture and develop their staff. So I can pass that information on to you via the podcast. I can share with you how to tackle an online interview, for example, or how to go about the process of searching for a remote job. So I'll be sharing my expertise. That's the second type of content I'll be sharing with you. So the third type of content I'll be sharing with you is long form interviews from some of these top CEOs of remote businesses, some of the leading hiring managers and leaders from the remote businesses as well. So again, you can understand their mindset. You can understand how they develop their teams, so you can understand how they develop their own careers as well. So those long form interviews I found really helpful to me when I was actually struggling with my own career. And I think you will find them helpful as well. And like I said, the third type of content, which is the long form interviews, is split into 2, because I know some of you prefer to listen to content in short form. So what I tend to do is I segment those long form interviews into short, bite-sized chunks of information, which are generally the nuggets of information that those people I interview share with me. So I'll be also sharing some of these nuggets of information to help you to understand, again, some of the gems and pearls of wisdom that the remote CEOs and leaders have passed on to me. So that's it. Those are 3 different types of content, I suppose you could say, or 3.5. So that's the remote work-life business spotlight. That's the first type of content. The second type of content is me sharing with you my expertise in hiring, in recruitment, in how to approach interviews, how to network online, all those kinds of different things. And the third type of content, which, as I said, is split into 2, is long-form interviews with these great remote leaders and these luminaries of the remote world. And for those who don't like the long-form interviews, I'll be segmenting those long-form interviews into bite-sized chunks. So those are the types of content you can expect from the Remote Work Life podcast. And of course, as ever, if you have any suggestions in terms of how I can improve the show, then please, by all means, do get in touch with me. I generally hang out on LinkedIn, so you can reach me on LinkedIn. I'll usually leave my details in the show notes. If you look below and click on the link, you can get in touch with me via the direct message, or you can drop me an email. My email is on my LinkedIn profile. Have a look there for my email. Always like to hear from you in terms of feedback and comments and suggestions for guests, all those kinds of different things. One other thing, again, I'll mention it again. I am starting a beta if you're in America, member area on remoteworklife.io. I'm looking for 100 people, 100 beta members to test and provide feedback on all of these great interviews that I've had, these video interviews that I've had with, as I mentioned, these great remote work professionals, leaders, CEOs. And the whole purpose of this platform is for me to share with you the insight that they've given to me, which has enabled me to develop my career and has enabled me to help others develop their career in the remote world. And I think another purpose it serves is that I want to create a community. I want to create conversations, because I think sometimes the best way to learn is from your peers. So peer-to-peer learning, not just learning, but also just a place to hang out, a safe space for remote workers where we don't become isolated, where we can ask each other questions that we may not ask our employers, so that we can just generally provide each other feedback and commentary on how we can better achieve our goals and ambitions. You name it, that's what I want to create. So that's my ambition. So I really hope you can join me in that by going across to remoteworklife.io and indicating to me that you want to be one of those 100 beta or founding members of the Remote Work Life platform. So that's all from me for now. That's it for today's episode of the Remote Work Life podcast. If you want to watch exclusive on-demand video, including fireside chats and online lessons given by real-world remote work leaders, future of work experts and coaches, head over to www.remoteworklife.io. You'll learn how to get clarity on your career direction, how to thrive in a remote work culture, how to stay connected and develop and support your remote work teammates, and how to tend to your physical and mental health needs. Go to remoteworklife.io now, and remember to connect with me, your host, Alex Wilson-Campbell, on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube.